we're going to start recording right away. Okay. Okay, so if you have any queries, please just drop it in the message part of the chat. I'll receive the notification that there's a message. Please kindly drop some messages. Let's confirm the chat is working. Please drop some messages. All right, it's working. I can see that now. All right, so thank you very much, everyone. So you're welcome to this cohort. This is the free training for data science, which we started last month. This is the second edition of it. It is free, but some persons ask, you said it's free. Why are you adding 1,000 for registration? Yes, that was actually a very deliberate one. The last session that we had, going to 300 persons showed interest. But in the end, by the time we were finishing in our two last classes, you won't believe that we managed to have 10 to 15 students out of 300. So it shows that they only showed interest because they thought it might be something to bring them sharp money. But once they realized that it required some commitment and time, a couple of them just became uninterested. Not because what was communicated was not interesting, but they just kind of, decided to just stay back. Okay, so we decided, okay, let's get only the serious ones with that commitment of 1,000 naira. Okay, I'm seeing some messages. I'm getting some. Yes, you are going to have the recorded version. Don't worry. I would always make the recorded. I'll have it on YouTube the same way we have the Cohort1 on YouTube. Cohort2 will also be on YouTube. So don't worry about that. Okay. All right. Thank you very much indeed. So let's move ahead with our introduction. For this particular course, as you have seen from the course outline that we sent on the platform, this is how we are going to be moving by the grace of God. We'll start with our introduction today. Introduction is going to be, it's going to be very loaded as well. But please, I want to really implore you all to keep an open mind, okay? Whatever you had in mind until now about programming languages, just kind of pocket it and let's keep an open mind to learn something new. And I promise you, it's going to be an adventure. I understand that we have different demography of learners on the call. We have professors of universities on this call. We have undergraduates on this call. We have persons from different spheres of life. There are some persons who are not even in the academia who are here, while we have students in their master's degree and PhDs who are very interested in learning this, especially to be able to use the knowledge for their research. You know, for some of them, their research is really around the corner. They're working so hard to get things done, but the tool to utilize to achieve these things happen to be far away, and that's why R is very, very useful. And despite the fact that we are looking at what I might consider as introduction, the things you will learn in this course are pretty much all you need about the fundamentals. Subsequently, you only need to practice more, read more, and then you get your hands dirty with projects and all of that. Before you know it, you are up and doing. So we'll go after the introduction, we'll look into our data structures and operations. We go into course 3, where we shall be looking at dissecting data structures and visualizations in R. You'll be seeing all those beautiful graphs and all of that. And then we'll by function control flows. All right, how do you develop your own function that you can call later on to carry out tasks for you? And most times functions are designed in order to prevent repetitiveness. of code, body of codes. You just write that function, and then you call the function, supply it with the necessary parameters, and then voila, the task is done. All right, we go ahead and look at some special operations in data manipulations and cleaning. And yeah, we jump right ahead to modeling in R. In this particular cohort, we're going to be looking at just simple linear regression. I'm sure for those who are into research, you are wondering, how about the other modeling techniques? How about the other modeling? Are we just only looking at simple linear regression? Yeah, I'm planning for a course later in the new year, which will be very advanced in nature, because we're going to be looking at all kinds of model. We're going to be looking at multiple linear regression. We'll be looking at logistic regression. We'll be looking at how to do principal component analysis, what it stands for. You will be looking at possible neural networks and all kinds of other modeling techniques. Okay, so keep your fingers crossed and be on alert for the announcement. And at the end of this course, we're going to do at least one project. If we have time, we'll do two, but at least we're going to do one. So we are starting right away, but instead of starting with something very simple, I'm going to take a dive. All right. I am going to take a dive. Somebody's hands. Sorry, if you're unable to download the app, don't worry. Just click on the link. I don't know what app you're referring to. If you're referring to our app, don't worry. We'll get there and we'll move together. For now, all I need you to do is just focus on your screen. Just focus on your screen and see what I'm doing. That's all I need from everyone at this time. Okay. When it is time to start, working together, of course, I will also prompt you to do the needful. Okay. So the first thing we are looking at is, mountain to the valley. And what does that mean? So we are going to literally go to the last thing we are going to do in this course, and we are going to start from there. All right. Now, don't ask me why are we doing this. I really want you to see the end from the beginning. All right. So for that reason, I'm going to have to share my screen. Just a moment, please. Okay, so please, I need you to signify if you are able to see my screen. I need you to just signify if you're able to see my screen, and let me know if it is barely visible. The lettering are small, but you should be able to see it. Okay, drop a message. I want just two persons. Once you notice there are two persons messages dropped, just don't drop a message anymore. I just needed to confirm that. Okay. Just drop a message if you're able to see my screen. Okay, what I'm sharing. Okay, good. Thank you very much indeed. Okay, so this particular task, you are going to learn enough such that at the end of this course, you will be able to get a data set. We'll do it together anyway, but I will hand over the data set to you later on, and then you will also repeat it. Those in cohort 1 did not get the liberty because some of them, I mean, should I say most of them, didn't turn out to be as serious as I expected. But the few ones who were, they were able to see this exercise in class live. All right. So this data set, it's a student's data set, and it has all kinds of columns. And when I say columns, just imagine yourself looking at an Excel sheet. I want to believe everyone has seen an Excel sheet with the different, columns, each column representing different things. So if you were to be a student in school, okay, and then in your class, there is a data sheet that has information about yourself and your classmates. And then one of them is serial number, the other one is name, the other one is father's name, the next column is mother's name, the next column is living with parent or not. That would be either yes or no. The next one will be categories of of earning. Are they low income earners? Are they middle class? Are they high income earners? The next one might be different kind of stuff there. And then in the end, you might now find information like test 1, test 2, and then you find first time examination, second time examination, the percentage, and all of that. Now, all of this information can be in a single Excel sheet. And that is the kind of data set that we have in this particular example. Now, I am running this. This was a project I did sometimes ago during my master's program. And I thought of, okay, this is a very high level one. Let's see how we'll go about that. So ordinarily, when you have your data set like that, in R, there are things you call packages. Packages, like the word, sounds, they are used, they have functions inside them, loaded inside. And the functions can be called only when you load the package or the packages. All right. So any of the functions you might be needing is in one package or the other. Don't ask me how do I know about the package. Don't worry, you will know. As we move ahead, you'll see how simple that is. Okay. So for this particular example, we loaded a package called tidyverse. As you can see, library bracket tidyverse is how you load package. Now, don't worry if anything I'm saying right here appears not to make sense. Okay. As we move ahead, you will begin to draw, you will begin to understand, because immediately after this, we will go back to the beginning and then we will now start afresh. All right. Okay. So after loading the package here, you set your working directory. That means the folder where you're going to be working from in your system, you set it. And then you are right here going to load your data. And then once you do that, okay, that's just a function to list what is in that folder. This is where I load my data from this highlight. I load my data here, and then once I load my data, I start some operations. And what is the operation? I want to set aside, don't forget, the task I forgot to mention. So this particular data, the particular task, is requiring us to find a relationship between the elements or the variables in the data set. Okay, if it were to be live, I would have shown you the data set itself. I can time is really of essence, but let me see if show you the data set student data set. Just a moment. I think I can show you. I will okay, once it loads now, I'm going to show you. Okay, it's loaded. Let's go back to our, let me quickly show you that. Just a moment. Okay. So I want to believe you can see the student data set. Okay. So yeah. So you see, this is it's a data set from 2 schools. Yeah, 2 schools, GP, and the other one has another name there. You'll see it later on. And then this is the sex of the student. The names of the students are not here. We don't need that. And then the age of the students, the address of the students. I mean, we don't need the address, so we just replace it with, we just put something that signifies the address. I think this should be family size. If you want to get more information about these names, you can try and do some. I think parent status. There is a bio data for this particular data set. I'll try and look for it. And then this also stands for something. And then fed you, and then I think this should be mother's job or something, and then father's job, reason, guardian. So all kinds of information are here. And you'll be wondering, what do we do with all of this? Okay, schools up, farms up, paid activities, nursery, higher, internet. So all kinds of information are here concerning these students. But in the end, you have grade 1, grade 2, and then grade 3. So this grade 3 is the final grade. Okay. The purpose of this assignment is that we are expected to be able to develop a model that will predict the final grade of a student, having all of this information about that student. So many information you will see, right? Now, some of the information you see here, some of the columns have nothing to do with final grade. But how do we know? Until we have modeled it. When I use the word model, please, if it is not familiar, if you are not familiar with that, please don't worry. You are going to understand as we go on. All right. So our final result is that we want to be able to model, meaning that we want to be able to predict by using an equation later on what G3 would be with minimal error, given the rest or a few. Okay. So that is the purpose of this particular work and task. Okay, so I will run you through this right now. So let's go back. Let's go back to what we were showing earlier. Just one moment. Okay, so coming back here, we have seen the data set itself now. Okay, so all right, great. So we have loaded the data here. And so the first thing we did here was to separate. So what we are trying to predict, we're going to be calling that a dependent variable. Okay, and in R, this is how we separated it. It's actually in column number 33. Okay, it's in column number 3. So we separated that because it's a dependent variable. Audible right now? Can anyone hear me? Can you hear me? Please confirm if you can hear me. Okay, thank you very much. I thought the audio was a little bit down. Okay, good, good, good. Thank you. Okay, so let's move ahead. All right, so the dependent variable is what we are separating. That is a dimension, a dependent variable. We call it y. And then the rest, of course, from 1 to 33. Look at them here. Look at them. I'm just showing the head here. From school up to, 33. Look at that. Up to G2. Those ones will become, the independent variables. So normally in modeling, this is a typical case of multiple linear regression. So normally in modeling, you have independent variables that determine the dependent variable. In most cases, in almost all cases, the dependent variable is a single column, a single variable that will be determined by the independent variable. So the independent variable will determine the destiny of the dependent variable. Again, the dependent variable is dependent on the independent variables. Okay, so in this case, the final grade of the student, G3, is what we are looking for. So that is the dependent variable. All right, so we are able to do that, and this code here, head of X, is just trying to show us the first 5 or first 6 column of the particular data set. In this case, is X. Okay, and that is what you see here, the first 6 column up to G2. Okay, so let's see this. So when you do summary in R, you are looking for the descriptive statistics of any particular stuff. But in this case, you're looking for the descriptive statistics of the column 7 of X. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Medu. Okay, I mean, what do we need that for? I wouldn't know, but this is the descriptive statistics of that particular column. Same you can do for any column. So coming into some operations, don't let this scare you. Okay, so what we did here from the beginning to the end is factoring. Factoring is understand every of the column in your data set. You want R to understand column in your data set so that R when I will get the full name of the metadata, and I will get you the full name of let's just let's just assume it's F. Okay, so this med just highlighted. So what you have in the data is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, what does this mean to R? Should R recognize numbers that can be added or subtracted? By using these numbers to represent something at a particular time. Okay, so you don't want R. I'm getting some messages. I need to be sure if you are not calling my attention to things. Just drop a message if you can hear me. How is it now? I think I'm back. Is it okay now? Please drop a message. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Abubakar. Okay. Okay, good. So let's go back. I want to believe my screen is still being shared. Okay, so all right, so let's just go back to what we are looking at. Okay, so you don't want R to see numbers. It's just once we have started, if there is, okay, it is clear now. Thank you. The messages are kind of distracting in a way. So once we have gone there, if there is really no reason, please don't drop messages so that I don't get distracted. All right. So you don't want R to see these numbers as ordinary numbers, whereas what you meant is for these numbers to represent something. Okay. Okay. Maybe 0 represents something else, and then 1 represents something else entirely. But they are not really numbers. Okay, they are not like what you find in the G1 and G2, which are scores, real scores. Okay, so let's take note of those. All right, so what we now did here for all of these different columns is to convert them to factor. You will understand what factor means later on. So what we are doing here is that we are converting them to factor. Now see what we did in this line here. Okay, let me use something else. Let me use internet. Okay, look at what we did for internet here. So what we did here, is my screen not being shared? Mrs. Debbie is saying the screen is not shared. Is that the case for everyone? You can drop a message on WhatsApp to ascertain that. It's not being shared, or is that just me? Okay, it is. I don't know what's happening, Madam Debbie. You may want to reconnect. Maybe that will help. But for now, I think the screen is being shared. Okay. Yeah. From the messages I have here. Back into factors. So that is what we did for all of them. But just take a good look. You see that absence, number of times absent in class, G1, G2, these are already numeric variables. So we did not need to convert them. They are numeric variables. Okay, so don't, if you may be wondering, so when we do factors, are we trying to convert them to numeric variables? No, we are converting them to factors. So factors are represented by numbers, but internally in the system, they belong to a class called factor. They are not numbers, but they are unique values that the system understands what it stands for. Okay, so take note of that. So when we move on, so the next thing we did here was to okay, this is just normal changes. So here we are checking I mean, what we have in the Guardian to see if it has been converted already to factors. We are just trying to see what the new values are. And as you can see, they have been converted already. So after that, we go into the modeling. Okay, and in R, linear regression modeling has a simple function called LM. LM. So what are we doing in modeling? You write the model here, and then this is an assignment operator, an arrow pointing to the object. This is an object. Pardon my use of R jargons. Don't worry. We will start again from afresh in a few moments after going through this mountain. Okay, so linear regression model, you are modeling y, which is the dependent variable. Remember, you're modeling it against all the other 32 variables. And then when you do that, the data you are using, you include it. And when you run that, the model is run, and then you want to summarize the model and see what is the model giving me. Okay, so the model is coming out like this. Of course, I don't have the privilege of showing you here what a multiple linear regression would look like, but just for a simple linear regression that only one dependent variable, you line where you just have y equals to mx plus c, where y is the and s. In this case, because this is a multiple linear regression, of course you have one intercept, but you have just drop a message in WhatsApp. Drop it in WhatsApp. I have my phone with me, so we don't have too much interruption on the call. So, but I think it's back now, as you can see. Okay, so looking at this, the asterisk ones, the one that has significance information by the size, they are the significant ones. What this means is that if we remove all others, okay, let's go further into this thing. So these are what you use to measure how the performance of your model. There's something that is called R squared, okay, R squared. For those who are familiar with statistics, it is called the coefficient of determination. Coefficient of determination. How that is obtained, you don't really need that, but just know that it is the model is significant. That means we are embracing alternative hypothesis. Sorry, I'm bringing in another jargon. Okay, those who are used to statistics know that when you start a statistical operation, you will assume that that thing is not possible, meaning that we are assuming from the beginning that we are not sorry, everyone. I think the internet is misbehaving. Let me see if I can connect to another internet for now. Worry. Soon we'll have I'll be in a place where the internet will be incorruptible, where the internet will be very strong. Hopefully, before we finish this class, we'll. Okay, please just drop a message if you can hear me now. Drop a message if you can hear me. I think it should be better now. Okay, it should be okay now. Good, good. Okay, thank you. For now, yes. So drop a message in the WhatsApp group in case there is any interruption. Okay, so sorry about that. I don't know how much you have missed, but don't worry. We are going to be looking at this course, so don't bother. So after that, we are using the significance, appellations by the model to be able to determine which ones will go into the second iteration. So by that, we are now picking only the ones that the model says are significant. So when we do that, we are able to come up arrows. As you can see, the ones that we removed didn't affect it that much. It's now 0.83, before we did that, it was just, I mean, it's not even far, it's not okay. So we are still okay, even after removing so many of those. All right. But after we did this, we realized that okay, some things are less significant. This activity is less significant. Let me confirm again so that I would not just be talking. Okay, okay, hearing right now. Talk is back now. Yeah, I think so. How about now? I think it's okay now. Okay, if it is okay, let's move ahead. We'll go back to the beginning. So at the end, you're able to develop an equation. You're able to develop an equation using this coefficient. Remember, this is your intercept. This will be the coefficient of family relation. This will be the coefficient. Since all of them are positive, what this means is that they I mean, they are not. This means is that they are all positively going to be affecting your final grade. Okay, So with this, yes, okay, somebody might be asking, so what is the importance of this? So the importance of this is that give me any value of family relation, give me a value, give me any value for absence, and then give me a value for G2. I can predict what your final grade will be. And that is what linear regression is. That is what modeling is in R. It is predictable. It is predictive. So you call it predictive. Analysis. That is what you do in a more advanced level as far as data science is concerned. Sorry, everyone. I know the network behaved funny for a while, but yeah. So we are going to start right away from what we have in our course outline. Okay, so let me just share that part so that we can all see. Yeah. So welcome to R. I decided to give us the first aspect there, from mountain to the valley. That is what R can actually do for you. So you can do something as advanced as that as R is concerned. Okay? As far as R is concerned, you can do something as sophisticated as that. Okay, so the next thing we are going to be looking at is the fact that programming language is not difficult as you see it. I'm sure you have heard so many things about programming, and a lot have been said to you about programming languages. But I'd like you to know that it is not all right. Sorry about that. Network. It's not. It's a network free day. Okay, so as you can see here, I'm trying to see how. Let me share my screen again so that we can. I want to know whether okay. Okay. So programming language is not as difficult as you see it. If you can understand your own mother tongue, which you did naturally without even, then you can understand programming language. So, like it is called a language, it means that it is a way of expression. But in this case, you are trying to communicate to the computer how to carry out an operation for you. And realize that once you start the conversation and you keep conversation, you would learn how the conversations are made, and it automatically becomes part of you, to the point that you can now begin to converse with the computer in different languages. So as far as this course is concerned, we are looking at a language called R. Okay, for those who might be familiar, R is a language that comes from another S, but that's not our problem here in this course. We just want to look at R. Okay, so R is a very beautiful and versatile programming language, and I dare to tell you that you may not be able to do any form of data science, mark my, without delving into programmable side of it. If all you want to do is to be building graphs, what you are doing is just data analysis. Okay, you are just analyzing data analysis. You do those beautiful graphs, they will look very sumptuous and good looking, but that's all. Okay, you will just build those graphs, that is all. But if you want to go in depth and find the scientific understanding behind data, like we did today in the mountain to valley aspect of the task, you are able to see that you can literally generate information from data, and you can use that kind of information to predict what will happen in different scenarios. Okay, so yes, so after that we will look at how we can install RStudio and R. So let me share my screen. Let me share my web screen this time around. Okay, so I'm going to share a browser. Let's see which of the tabs I should be sharing. Okay, just a moment. Let's share this tab. I will just type in something else here. Okay, just a moment. Let me. The first one we are looking at is how to download R. This link in the comment section. So in case you get this, I posted it already, I think. In case you get that, you are going to be following that link to R. So put it here as well. So if you follow this link, you'll be able to download R. Okay, so depending on your operating system, you will be able to download R first before RStudio. You need R first before RStudio. RStudio is just a development environment. The main is R. But because of the interface that R has naturally, it's not that beautiful to work with. So that's why the developers of RStudio came up with RStudio. So RStudio leverages on R, okay, and is able, someone is dropping a message. What is that? Okay, who is raising their hands? Mr. Jim, you have something to talk about? You can just drop it in the chat. I'll look at it. Okay, so after that, you can now download your RStudio. So let's go to the R itself. So if you are here already on this website, download R for Windows if your machine is Windows, and then click on download R for Mac OS if your machine is Mac OS. Okay, if you're using an Apple system. I hope that is okay. If you have anything to talk about, Mr. Mutiu, type it in the chat and drop it so that we can look at it together. All right. Yeah. Otherwise, you can just lower. You can just lower your hand. So it's distracting. Okay. So after you have downloaded your R, the next thing you want to do is download RStudio. You come here. So for RStudio, once you click on that link I posted in the chat section, maybe I should also repost that to the WhatsApp group. That is this is RStudio for those on WhatsApp. I just posted for WhatsApp users now. So RStudio. So you click on this and download RStudio. Once you have that in your download, first of all, install R. When you are done installing R, then you can install RStudio. If you do not have R on your system already, RStudio will not install. So you install your R first, and then you install your RStudio. I hope that is clear. All right. So if you have any questions, you are free to drop it. This is supposed to be a practical session right about now. If you are yet to download it, please do it right away. I want to attend to any issues if there are. So please, you can start doing that right away. Okay. We will take some time. Hopefully by around 15 minutes past, we will go into the coding session. Now, don't worry if you're unable to get it downloaded today, you can do that tomorrow morning stroke afternoon before tomorrow's class, so that you don't get, so that you won't be lagging behind. I hope that is okay. So if you are currently trying to install, drop a message. Let me know. I'm waiting for some persons actually doing the work. If you are trying to install either RStudio or R, drop a message. Drop a message. Say I'm installing. Just drop a message in the chat. Say installing. Let me know that I'm having to wait for you. Otherwise, I will assume that everyone is trying to do it later. Okay, installing. Guest is installing. If you are installing, drop a message and say I'm installing. Okay, for the R, somebody dropped a message. You don't know how to install R. So I dropped the link in the chat. Maybe you, okay, let me drop that in the WhatsApp group so you can follow that up. So installing R. So you install your R first. I just dropped it on WhatsApp group now. So go to any browser and okay, if you're seeing my screen right away, so click on that link. When you click on the link, it brings you here. You see R here. This is we call the CRAN network, where you have R. Okay, so on the CRAN network, you can click on this particular one for Windows. I want to believe most people's machines are Windows. So click on download for Windows. Once you are done with that, then you can now download RStudio. Download R and install it, then download RStudio and also install it. Once the two are good, then your RStudio should be fine. So afterwards, what you will now need to spin up will now be RStudio. So once you spin up RStudio, when I mean spin up, just click on it. Once it is done installing, just click on RStudio and RStudio will be up. I'm going to show you my RStudio soon, but let's be sure that everyone is up and doing. Firstly, let's be sure. Okay, somebody is installing. Okay, while we are waiting for those installing, let me stop sharing here and go to another tab where I will show some very important persons in our midst, talking about those who only have access to mobile phone. Somebody is having a deep breath now. Say, finally. Now, there is a platform that can help you to do some work online if all you have is a mobile phone. and that is this particular link. I posted it already, but if you can see my screen right now, it is called rdrr.io/snippets. You don't need to cram this. Just have it somewhere. Whenever you need it, click on it, and it will bring you here. So the thing about this is that you cannot install packages, but graciously, they have around 19,000 packages pre-installed. So pretty much any package you may want to think of, it's likely the package is already installed here. Okay, any package you want to think of is likely it's already installed. So you can try out things, but I haven't tried out my entire work online to know if there is a break because of unavailability of a particular package or not. But to a very large extent, I want to believe you'll be able to carry out most of the tasks we are going to be doing on your mobile if all you have is mobile. Mark my words, if all you have is mobile, you won't be left out. All you just need to do is copy the code. But the negative side is that you will always have to copy the code and bring here whenever you need to work. And when you click on run, it's going to run everything in the code. Whereas in RStudio, you can choose any, I think you should also be able to choose a part here, but I'm not sure. Okay, so let us run everything in this script now. Let's run. When we run that, it will take some time, communicate with the server that this is connected to, and of course, now you see the output. Okay, so what is happening in this code? They loaded a library called ggplot2, which is used for aesthetics, for plotting, graphs, and all of that. And then there is a data called cars, okay, a data that is inbuilt called cars. So you use plot to plot cars, and you have this, okay, about the cars data, which has speed and distance columns, just 2 columns. And then you go further and you use this Q plot, and then you plot WT width against miles per gallon in another data set called empty cars. Okay, and then you want it to color by this cylinder, factor cylinder. So you want coloring to be based on cylinder, and eventually you see it here. All right, so the 4s are cylinders. The ones that have 4 cylinders, the ones that green are the ones that have 6 cylinders, and then 8 are the ones, the blue are the ones that have 8 cylinders. So you can see that for 8 cylinders vehicles, most of them have high weight. Okay, and for cylinders that are less, 4 cylinders, they have they can go further. Okay, their weights are light, but they can go further. You can see that. Okay, but in any case, you can see that miles per gallon is in a way correlated with car weight. So the more the weight, the less you know, the miles per gallon. Okay, the less miles. So this is inverse relationship, as you can see that. Whereas this other one is positive relationship. Okay, so don't worry, we're going to do this. So when we need to run a body of code, maybe when you get your PDF at the end of the class today or tomorrow for class 1, all you need to do is copy the code. You can select and copy, and then come here and paste the code. Meanwhile, there are codes that need a library. Ensure you are also including the library that is required before you run the body of code. Otherwise, it will throw an error. If I should comment this out right away and run this, let's see if it will work. Except it will recognize that I already run that stuff before. Okay, it recognizes that, okay, it's not able to resolve qplot. Why? Because qplot as a function is not found. And the reason is because I did not load ggplot2, which is a library. So actually, qplot is inside this library. ggplot2 is a function inside the library ggplot2. I want to believe I am making sense for the phone users and for every other person. Okay, so you need to ensure that now let's run again. To run this time around, everything should show. Okay, so yeah, this is the only disadvantage. It takes some time because it has to connect to the server, resolve, and then bring you back your response. Good. So you have an advantage, but of course, trust me, you don't have all the flexibility you would have with you know, the RStudio. Is that okay? So I hope this will help. If you are a phone user, give me a thumbs up if this will help. If this will help you. If you are a phone user, give me a thumbs up if this is going to help you. If you are a phone user, give me a thumbs up if this will help you. Come on, encourage me now. Give me a thumbs up if you're a phone user. Or is everyone a laptop user? Share everyone is laptop user. Okay, I want to believe the phone users are not on the call. Okay, so that's that for phone users. Mr. Abubakar, I know you are a phone user. Okay, good for the laptop users. Don't worry. So if you are done installing R or RStudio, drop a message for me. Let me know. Yeah. By 15 minutes past 9, we hope. Good, Presta. Don't worry, your laptop is coming. If it is bad, you will repair it very soon. Okay, done installing R. Good. Please install RStudio as well. After R, the next one is RStudio. After R, the next one is RStudio. So install R and then install RStudio. Good. Done with RStudio, guys. Thank you. Done with RStudio. So if you are done with RStudio, uh, now you can spin up your RStudio. Just type in your Windows and then type RStudio. Once it comes up, click on it and let it come up. So spin up your RStudio. Spin it up. When you join this call, please, there will be a place for you to type your name or just click on it from your end and change your name so that we are able to please change your name so that we can see your name instead of seeing this guest 1 or guest 2. Okay. Okay, that would really help us indeed. Okay. Yeah. Are we good? Okay, so let me welcome those on the call. Welcome Sakinat, welcome Mugula Mayowa, welcome Aquafem, welcome Paradise. If you are not having your name there, so I'm going to omit that. Welcome AY, welcome Jima Mutsu, welcome Pristar, that's a Gmail. Welcome Tolu Sam, welcome Etarogene, welcome Ololade Adeigbe, Adeigbe, welcome Peace, welcome um, okay, Pastor Michael Irewusi, welcome. Mrs. Kyle Deborah, welcome. Madam Kemi Durotoye, welcome. Papa T, welcome. Dr. Eze Stanley, welcome. Etarogane, welcome. Mr. John Uponi, welcome. Amin Abdul, welcome. Kura Biokwo, welcome. Madam Adenike Rija, welcome. T-Smart, welcome. Abubakar, welcome. Rahmat, welcome. Elijah, welcome. Bukola, Madam Bukola, welcome. David Ifeanyi, welcome. Ayinla Jacob, welcome. Confidence, welcome. Olushisi, welcome. Ayomide, Femi Aderemi, you are welcome. Emmanuel, you are welcome. Osita, you are welcome. And welcome to myself. If you still have those guest 1 or guest 2, it's likely I omitted your name. I'm sorry. Okay, but if I call your name, good for you. Okay, so let's go back and check how many persons have installed. Who are we waiting for? Okay, you have installed. Good. Thank you. So if you have installed R and RStudio, now spin up your RStudio. Let me go and show you my RStudio. Let me spin up my own RStudio. Okay, so I want to believe, let me go to a fresh screen. How does it show at your end? Maybe something like this. Confirm if you can see my screen. Don't worry, you are not expected to install with your phone. I'm sure you have been following us, Mr. David Ifeanyi. You're not expected to install anything on your phone. It's on your laptop. But as far as the phone is concerned, you are not installing, but you can link I sent on the, in the group. I will have to, just a moment, my system is trying to get itself. The audacity of this network is somehow. Okay, so let me stop sharing. I'm going to share my entire screen right now. I'm going to share my entire screen. Oh my entire screen. I'm sharing my entire screen. I'm sure you can see yourselves. Okay, so from here, just go to here. I'm sure you should be using the latest Windows. And then from here, type RStudio. If you installed it already, it's going to come up like this. This is RStudio. It's an app. Okay. Click on this. I already have it clicked. When you click on this, it's going to spin up. It's going to spin up something like this. Okay. It's going to spin up something like this. So let me be sure you are doing that. Is that making sense? Is that what you are saying now? Class, we're going to be having uninterrupted network. This is what we get from our beloved motherland. It should be better now. I'm sure you can hear me now. I'm monitoring the network. Once it ceases, I try to be quiet until, except I don't know, I don't notice that. So you should be hearing me now, I guess. If you are, just let me know you're hearing me. So if you've been able to spin up your RStudio, let me know. Let us know. If you're able to spin up your RStudio, let's know. Okay, David, thank you for that. So drop a message if you're able to spin up your RStudio. Let's know. Okay, we have a couple of yeses. Okay, I just explained to you, guests, your name is not showing. Please, you can correct your name on the call. Try and click on your own name and then try correcting your name. I don't want to be seeing guests. Let's see your name. Except your name is guest. You are our guest anyways. Okay, so are you done installing? Some persons are still installing. Okay, no issues, no issues. I'll wait. Okay, we have to make this fast spend so that we don't spend all time. So if you are still installing, if you are still installing, at this time you need to pause and face the screen. Let installation be for now. Okay, you can see my not. So if you are still installing, please, you need to pause it right now because we are going to start working. Because of our time time is not friendly, so we want to begin work right now. So going by what we have after installing, let's get familiar with the RStudio interface. Okay, so now if at any point you stop hearing me, I prefer drop a message on WhatsApp. I'll see that faster than, because the bad on the system anyway. Let me drop a message on the WhatsApp. I'll see it. And okay, so when you spin this up, the first stage, please, if you can see my RStudio, drop a message, please. If you can see my RStudio, please drop a message. Drop a message. Okay, I'm actually sharing my screen, so you should be able to see my RStudio. You can't, let me stop sharing and I will share again now. After now, you should be able to see my studio. Just a moment. You'll see it now. So you should be seeing my RStudio now. now. Okay, so let's see what happens in RStudio. Don't worry, I want to promise you by the grace of God, network will be better before the third class. That I'm very sure of by God's grace. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what we've got here. So when you open it like this and it comes this way, click on this. Look at this this double, what's it called now? This thing that looks like pages of a book or something. Okay, when you click on this, there will be a separation. You will now have 4 different windows. Okay, 4 different windows. 4 different windows. Okay, so let's talk about. I'm afraid this network might mess up anytime, so I'm trying to check it out. But in any case, we'll move on. So let's look at it. So the top left, where my cursor is at the moment, is called the code window. Code. Okay, this is the environment where you type your code. This is the environment where you type your code. Okay, and then this environment here, of course, they call it environment, right? No issues. So this is where your objects, any object you create here. When I say object, if I say A equals to B plus C, that A is an object. Because by the time that line of code executes, that A will now be holding value. It will now be holding the value of B plus C. So it will be registered in the memory of R. This time it will replace the former A there. Okay, so so if I say A, let me equals to 3 plus 4. Let's see if the network is still friendly. Okay, good. So if we say it was 3 plus 4 and you run this, if you want to do run, you use this run here and you run it, you can see, oh, something has been created here. So A is an object. And because A is here, A is always remembered. So if I say A and I run this, look under here. You can see that A is 7 anytime, any day. But if I now say again that A equals that other A is now 9. A is no longer 7. I let A and I run it. A is now 9. 7 is gone. But the interesting again, new object to be created called AI. Everybody can see my screen. If that is not the case for everybody, Mr. David, you need to reconnect, please. Is everyone able to see my screen? I need 3 yeses, please, before I can continue. If you're able to see my screen, drop a yes. I want the yeses first. I understand there are some no's. If you're able to see my screen, drop a yes. Okay, there are some yeses. There are some yeses. So if you are not able to see it, since there are yeses, it might be your network. I understand I also have some bad network here, but for this, so you may just log out and log in again. I'm sure you'll see it. Okay. Yeah, this is a very interesting aspect of the course. So we want to see how the RStudio interface looks like. Okay. So when you say AI is equals to 9 and you click on this, it's going to create a new object called AI. Okay, so it's a new object here, as you can see. So the bottom side here is the console side. Now, the real R, this is how the real R works. You only have the console for the real R. If you want to try it out, instead of launching RStudio, try launching R on your own. No, not now. Do it later. Try launching R. You're going to see something not looking too beautiful, where you only have opportunity to type something in the prompt. Okay, if you want to bring back a code you have typed formerly, you press the up arrow button to be able to bring that code back. Can you see what is happening there? Press the up arrow button, it takes me to the code at the top, the one I typed earlier on, and all of that. Okay, so still showing us the still trying to show you everyone the R window. Okay, don't worry, I'm sure we're going to do something today. Okay, so the bottom side is where you have you have many things. You can access the file side where you can link to your file, the current working directory where you are working in. This is it, and then you can plot. So anytime you are doing any plotting operation here, it will show under this plot. It will spin up automatically. You see them here. Don't worry, you'll see that when we start plotting. And that packages, yeah, I mentioned packages. You will need to install some packages as time goes on. Otherwise, there are some pre-installed packages. Immediately you bring up, immediately you load your RStudio, you'll see some pre-installed packages here. Most of them are not ticked. That means they are not loaded. Okay, but the base ones are loaded. Immediately you spin up RStudio, the base ones are loaded. But the rest, if you need them, go and spin them up, and then you can use the function inside. Okay, so they have different things that they do. So if you need help, this is where you get help from. So anything about RStudio, you can get help, or R, you can get help from there, and so on and so forth. Okay, don't worry, we will use every of these different aspects of the, as we go on in the course. Okay, so let's look at what next we are looking at. We have looked at the console, the environment, and all of that. Okay, so let's look at the menu bar functionalities. Let's look at the menu bar functionalities. So here you have a file. If you want to create a new file, a new R file, all kinds of files. So essentially, RStudio is not just a development environment for R. You can do other things. You can run C file, C code. You can do C++. You can do HTML file here. You can run CSS. For those who are into web development, they understand what I'm saying. So if you want to open an R file, you use open. These are normal things. But if you need to know more about this later on, you will also see how we are doing it. If you want to save a file, if you want to save as to another, you can do that. You see the edit, you see the code. But if you want to change your interface, like my own, okay, you want it to be dark, like white, you go to global options. Don't worry. Looked at that. The next thing we want to look at is there are a few basic shortcuts in RStudio. All right, welcome back. So there are a few basic shortcuts in RStudio that I'm going to be showing you right away. So there are a few basic shortcuts. So in RStudio, let me just show you a few ones, maybe 2 or 3. So in RStudio, if you want to run a line of code, instead of us coming here to type on run, no, sorry, to click on run, okay? instead of always coming here, when your cursor is on that line, and then you come here to click on run, you can use the key shortcut Control Enter, Control Enter, Control Enter. When you do that, that operation run is done. Okay, that operation is done. Okay. So aside that, somebody is sharing a document. What do I do, please? I'm using a mark. Let's see. Sorry, let's try and respond. Let's try and answer this person. Okay, I'm trying to open this. Okay, what you have opened is not RStudio. For the Mac user, you have opened R. And this is what I was saying the other time. You have just pinned up R. So there is a RStudio for your Mac. So download the RStudio. Take note, RStudio. This is R. This will not help you. This will not give you the flexibility you need. This will not give you this flexibility you need. So download RStudio. Because you have R already, no issues. Once the RStudio comes up, you can spin it. Then you will have a similar environment like we have Pastor Ige. Okay, so I hope that is in order. Download RStudio, sir, and that will solve that problem. Okay, so let's go to what we were looking at. So there is something you do in R. It is called commenting. Okay, you comment a lot in R, and commenting is to help your code to be readable. So someone sees your code later, they can know what you are doing in a particular line of code. Let's say, for example, I just install packages here. Right? I can just put a comment, and this is how you do a comment in R. You put a hash symbol, okay, on top of 3. That's where the hash symbol is, shift 3. And then you say, so you can tell us what you are doing before the line of code. I'm seeing a couple of messages coming in. Any issues? Okay, you are unable to spin up RStudio. If you already installed RStudio, then you should just go to your Windows and type RStudio. It will come up. Then click on it. It will get loaded. That's what I mean by spinning it up. It will load. But if it doesn't load, we can resolve that later. You can post that on our WhatsApp group later. We'll resolve it. Is that okay? Yeah, I think so. So commenting here, you just type hash symbol and you say, I'm installing packages. So the good thing about comment is that it is not resolved. Comment is not resolved by the code. Once the code gets to that line, so if the compiler gets to that line and it sees that, oh, it is hash, it will jump it and go to the next line because it knows that it's comments. It is not supposed to be interpreted by the computer. Okay, so that is what comment is. What is the shortcut about comments that I want to show you? If you want to comment multiple lines of code, instead of coming to each line and typing hash symbol, the next line hash symbol, you can select all the lines of code, okay, and simply do Control Shift C. Take note of that. Let me write it here. Control plus Shift plus C. C as in C of it. If you click on Control Shift together and then you click C, the third keyboard, the third key, while you have highlighted the lines you want to comment, it will automatically comment them. While still being highlighted, if you do the same thing again, Control Shift C, it will uncomment. I hope somebody will try that. So in this case, we want to comment just these lines. And I want to also comment this. Okay, so that is the advantage you get from that. Okay, so let's go ahead and do something else. I'm sure we'll be able to, yeah. Okay, so the next thing we want to look at, let's see, what's our time saying? Okay, we still have some time. The next one we want to look at is how to load and install packages in R. How to load and install packages in R. I hope we are together. We want to look at how we can load and install packages in R. Let's use 2 minutes to feel the vibe. If you can hear me very loud and clear, drop a message quickly. I want to see your message. I'm waiting now that network is good. In the chat, if you can hear me, I drop a message, and you can see my arrow screen that I'm sharing. At least let's appreciate the net. Okay. But I can't see what you are doing. The cursor not showing. Oh, currently I'm off this. Go back there. You see my cursor there. Don't worry, Mr. Abubakar. Okay. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing. You can see my RStudio. Don't worry. We will we'll attend to some of these queries later. If you have any issue at any point in time, just help keep your query, keep it. If it is not able to get resolved in class because of our time, I will okay, somebody is not seeing my RStudio. If you are seeing RStudio, see Control+Shift+C did not work at my end. If you are on RStudio and you select multiple lines first, before you now click on Control Shift, I'm not saying you should click on plus, so Control Shift and then C. Control Shift and C. If you click on those 3 buttons together, it is okay. Thank you, ma'am. Mrs. Kayode, thank you. If you click on those 3 buttons together, it's going to comment what you have selected, the lines you have selected. And if you leave it still being selected and you click on Control Shift and C again, it's going to unselect. Sorry, it's going to uncomment those lines. Okay. All right. So I think we can move ahead now. Those who were not seeing the RStudio, I hope they are able to see it now. Now my cursor is back here. Okay, so I want to show you how you can install packages. Now, this is where your packages find themselves when they are installed. They are all here. Like I said, packages are a bunch of functions packed together to do a particular task. Okay, so they are packaged together for a particular task. Let me see anyone that is friendly. Okay, let's use dplyr if it is friendly. So when you click on dplyr, this is the package. Look at all the functions inside the package. The function can do with them. Okay, look at. Okay, let's see. Okay, this one will be a nice function. So you are looking for. So this is this function is called the between function. This is how you use it between x, left and right. So there's a description here, but above all, there's an example. Okay, so within the values 1 to 12, I want values that falls between 7 and 9. I want values that fall between 7 and 9. Okay, so if I am to request for this function to carry out this task, I need to load the package dplyr. So that is loading, and I'm loading a package because it has been installed. What if dplyr was not to be installed in my system? How do I load package? I'm sorry, how do I install package? I showed you earlier on. Okay, I decided to check back if there are, if the network is still okay. So I showed you earlier on there are 2 ways. The first one you do is you come here, install packages, and you type here. Let's say it's dplyr. We know we are not doing dplyr. Dplyr is already in the system. But let's go for the one that is not in the system. ggplot. I have ggplot2 anyways. ggplot2. So if this is what ggplot2 is not showing again. So sorry, I guess it's your network, ma'am. Yeah, I guess it's your network because the network is fairly stable this time around. Stable here. Okay, it will come back. Okay. So if you are installing ggplot2, just come here, type the name of the package installing. See, over time you will get to know that okay, I need to do this task and I need this package for it. If you don't know what package can do the task, just go online and you will get packages, and install packages will be the least thing you worry about. Okay, so you click on install and it will install ggplot2. I have ggplot2 already. I'm not going to install that. The second way of installing packages, let's come here. You type this word, these keywords, install dot packages, and then in quotes you type the package name ggplot2 in this case. And of course, you run this line of code. Once you run the line of code, the package will be installed. Okay. Now, it's not enough to install package. So install package means that you have gone to the market, you have bought food stuff, and then you've kept them in your, is it pantry they call it now, or in your kitchen. Okay. So you have the food stuff there. But when you need to cook, you have to bring out the food stuff to be able to make your meal. So how do you do that? It is called loading package. Load it. Load it. If I were to be in church, I would say, somebody say load it. So loading package. So you come here and then you type library. That's how you load package. Library and then package name. This time around, you necessarily don't need to put it in quotes. Okay, it's only when you're installing you must have in code, but otherwise you don't need to put it in code this time around. So here, once you click on it, because I am yet to load ggplot2, although I have it here, let's see, ggplot2 is here, because I'm yet to load it, now I can load it. Okay, somebody might think of another way to load it, and that is coming here. Another way to load it is coming here and ticking on this box. Okay, now that's very simple, you might say, but when you don't even know where it is, would you now be scrolling and looking for it? So the easier way is just to come here and run this line of code. So if I run it now, remember the shortcut to run, Control Enter, or you click on run here. Okay, I think it's loaded already. Okay, sorry. So if I load it now, yeah, it's loaded already. So it's not bringing any issues, is it? Yeah, it's loaded. Now, after running that line of code, you can see that there is a tick here automatically. That means it is loaded. Okay. Okay, so the next thing, let's see the next thing we are looking at. That is how to install and load packages. Okay, so let's look at the basic syntax. We have just about 15 minutes more. So let me copy some bunch of codes and bring there. Let me copy some bunch of code. Please need your at this time. So that okay, you don't really need all those. Okay, so okay, let me copy more. You'll find this in your notebook later on. here for now. I will go back later. So we want to look at, normally in R, the professional syntax is not equal to for assignment. Okay, when you are assigning, that means you as an object. You one dimensional is very simple. It's just a one line of values or list of values. But list itself is a data type, so I'm not going to use the word list. So in this example, in code line number 32, there's an object called numeric vec, and you see this C. So C it comes out to be 1, 2, 3, as you can see. Okay, it's a one-dimensional vector. It's a one-dimensional vector. The same thing, you can have character vector. You can have character vector. If I run that line of code for character vector, sorry, I need to put my mouse very well, otherwise it will run error. I run that, the character vec will become A, B, and C. As you can see that. One-dimensional, but it's a character vector. This is not numeric. There are also logical vectors. True, false, true, anything between true and false, they are all logical vectors. You can have that up to 1 million. It is still one-dimensional. Don't say because this is 3. If you keep going 5, 6, 7, up to 1 million, it is still one-dimensional vector. Okay, so I have 6. This is more like a matrix. Sorry. This is more like a matrix. Simple. In this case, you have 2 rows. Rows are from left to right. So 1, 2, 4 is one row. 5, 6, 7 is the second row. But you have 3 columns. Column is top to bottom. All right, 3 columns. So let's delete this one I created manually. So when you want to create a matrix in R, you use the keyword matrix. Is a function. Is base. Is a base. Is in the base package of R. Is a function matrix. So if you run this now, see what it gives us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You see that? So it started arranging it across the column, second column, third column. Okay. You can also give this to an object. You can call it matrix 1 and give it as an object. In that case, when you run it, you will not see any value showing, just the code. But if you now want the value to show, you will now highlight the object. Sorry, I want to be sure everyone is hearing me. Okay, you will now highlight the object and run it. Once you do that, you will now see the value of the object. Now, this one is two-dimensional. As you can see, it's two-dimensional. Okay, it has a row and a column. It's two-dimensional. You see, the first dimension here, you see 1 comma, and then the second dimension is comma 1. Okay, so you can use, if you want to reference 3 now, 3 is in the position of first row, second column, 1 comma 2. First row, second column, 3 is in position of 1 comma 2. Is that okay? Okay, so let's quickly look at another type of data you call data frame. Now, for those who are into research, I bet you are going to have most of your data in this format. The one we use as for example today at the beginning, the mountain to valley task is actually a data frame, or you can call that a table or whatever. It's a data frame. So you can create a data frame in R like this. Data frame, this is the column head, and then the values. Army in the value. So that's the difference between all of these different types of data structures or data types. Okay, you cannot impute values into matrix that are not numbers. Is that okay? So data frame can accommodate numbers and all kinds of information together. The last one we're going to look at tonight before we go is lists. Lists. Don't worry, we'll look into all these in details in our subsequent classes. But the one we are looking at lastly before we go is lists. Okay. Okay, when I loaded this data frame, as you can see here, name is John Army, age is GPA, age is 30, 28, and then GPA is showing. So the last one here is lists. Now, almost like the same thing here, but in this case, you are having John with the name John, John's GPA, but John has more, the value for grades that corresponds to John is more. Okay, or it might not even be related to John, it might just be some data. Okay, so let's load list. You can see the first dimension has name. The name has first data is John. Under GPA, the first data is 3.5, and under grades, because imagine again here we use the C word for combine, and we combine 3 elements to make a single combined value for grades. Okay, so we are going to look at all of these about 2 or 3 more times before the end of the class. How do we dissect matrices? How do we access the element in matrix? If I want to go for number 3 in this matrix now, how do I access it? The same thing, how do I manipulate lists? How do I manipulate data frame? How do I start plotting values, or how do I start making visualization from data frame? For those who are researchers here, most of your data will be in a form of data frame, except you are working with digital imageries, satellite pictures or imageries. In that case, your data will come in form of matrices or raster formats. Okay, but we are not going to be doing that in this class. If we want to do anything regarding to rasters or vectors or whatever, that will be in an advanced class. But for this particular course, we'll be looking at data frames, we're looking at matrices more in details. So this is how we draw the curtain onto this class. I want to believe we, despite the network's intimidation, we have been able to have a successful class, the first one at that. So please, I need your feedback very quickly. If you are having issues, let me know. I'm going to stop the recording now so